So let's talk about getting started on the right foot. Let me get my notes here. Let's maximize this weekend. You guys, you lucky 6, are here, you flew, and I want to make sure you get the most out of it. So B, get up and get yourself a notebook right now. I'm serious. You're here to really bring it to the next level, and I selected you also because I knew you weren't just like gonna show up and phone it in. Like, I want you to really be present. I want you to be honest about what you're struggling with, and I will too. I struggle with stuff myself. Thanks, Kenna. B. 6 lashes. So to get and for everyone watching at home and for people that are purchasing the download, this holds true for you also. You know, life rewards action, so I really want you to participate. The more you do, the more you'll retain, the more you'll grow. And give 1,000%, please. Don't make me do this all by myself. Remain open to new ideas. Okay, so don't take a trip down to negative town. Once I say something, they're like, oh no, that could never work. Okay, just be open to it, consider it, and actually try it out. I think there's nothing that can test anything better than, you know, the success of something. You have to experiment with it. You can't just dismiss it out of hand. So a lot of things I'm going to talk about may seem like overly simplified, and maybe it is, because I dig simplification. But please remain open to new ideas. And know your main outcome. And I want you to think about this right now if you haven't already. Showing up today or tuning in today, either one, you should have in mind what your main outcome for this weekend is. Is it to have fun? Is it to finally nail your price list? Is it to find out how Christa does XYZ? Like, what is it? Be as specific as you possibly can. List maybe 3 things and really focus on those. Because if you're looking at this weekend through that filter, you're gonna get it, you know? But you have to know what your outcome is in order to achieve it. Okay, so these are some tenets I run my business and my life by, and I just thought it'll really explain a lot of how we do what we're gonna do this weekend. Keep it simple. I will say this so much. Keep it simple, keep it simple. Especially if you're just starting out or you're struggling, the best and easiest way to get beyond that is to simplify what you're doing. My dad taught me how to play chess when I was a kid, and he's like, okay, whenever you're playing someone better than you, which was always, try and get as many pieces off the board as possible. Meaning, like, try and swap as much as possible so you're not looking at as many factors. So that's what I did when I first started. Honestly, I shot on automatic for 2 years as a paid pro. And I'm just telling you guys that, don't tell anybody. And I shot with 1 lens for 7 years, seriously. So when I say keep it simple, like, I walk the walk, and I'm here to tell you I've been very successful, and I think it's because I didn't overwhelm myself. I was here connecting with my client, really taking a look at her, getting to know her, and what is gonna pull on her heartstrings, and, you know, I'm not worried about what the hell setting, what lens should I use? I didn't have to think about that. I had 1 lens and it was on automatic.
And I know, Christa, the chat room everyone must be asking, what was that lens?
24-70.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. So we will totally talk about lenses on day 2. I have this shoe lens analogy that I like. Lenses are like shoes. Anyway, I'm a girl, what can I say? What was I saying? Keep it simple. So really, you cannot simplify enough. And it comes up in my price list and my equipment and my styling. So experiment and tweak as you go. I know sometimes we get stuck and we can't decide. Being a business owner, usually you're working on your own. You've got 8,000 decisions to make all on your own, and it's difficult. And sometimes you just wish you had, like, coworkers to be like, hey, what do you think of that? Well, there's forums for that, number 1. But I think that you should just make a decision, choose something, and just experiment with it, and then you tweak as you go, instead of staying stuck. So many people are like, I'm just stuck here because I don't know what to charge. Really? It's been 2 years. So I want you guys to start making some decisions, making big decisions this weekend. And then, you know, you can change your mind later. You can tweak as you go, and you get useful information. And then focus on emotion. So I mean this both in your mission and why you do what you do, but also technically. I always prefer something that makes me, an image that makes me feel something rather than one that's technically perfect. So even in my editing, looking at 2 images like, wow, the composition's better here and the lighting, but damn, this one makes me go, oh, you know? So I choose this one. I'm always focused on emotion. And, you know, even prepping my client, I'm not necessarily talking like dates and details. I'm talking about like, why are you doing this? And like, let's get into the meat of this job. All right, let's talk about a successful mindset. And then we'll get started talking about working with women. But I think it's important to take a step back before we go forward and talk about some of the, some of the mindset qualities it takes to run a successful business, because you're not going anywhere without this. You can't skip this. No matter how good you are at lighting or posing, if you don't have these 6 qualities of a successful mindset, you're not going anywhere. I know shooters that are phenomenal. They aren't making any money. So no excuses. This is number 1. Be someone who produces results versus reasons. I know all the excuses. I have the same ones. The lighting was shit that day. The client wanted to wear that. The mofo down the street did a Groupon. I kind of, blah, 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 blah. Be focused on results. We don't care why it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So we need to, as photographers, we're basically problem solvers, right? And I love that. That's what's awesome about what we do. So you let those limitations fuel your creativity, because I believe that that is the definition of creativity. Being resourceful and finding a way around that. So yeah, we've got like this gray day and we've got 1 chair and like 5 feet of space up there. Now go be creative with that. Instead of going, well, yeah, I didn't get variety because I only had this 1 set. So I could only sell 10 images. She wasn't interested. Like, okay, I have the same set of circumstances. What are you gonna do about that? All right. Number 2, be a hustler. Successful people hustle while strugglers wait for shit to happen. All right? Go out there. We'll talk about like this in the business section. But, don't wait for things to happen. Don't wait for clients to hire you. Create desire. Go out there and be enthusiastic about what you do. I talk people into shoots. It's like, I have to shoot you. Here's my information. You have to take a look at my website. Yeah, Kenna. Shot her yesterday. We'll talk a lot about creative ways to get work, to get clients and stuff like that. But really, you have to have a hustler's mindset first. Know why you do what you do in addition to what and how. So Simon Sinek wrote a book, Start With Why. It's really good. I would highly recommend it. His quote is, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's true. I'm not selling images. I'm not selling albums. You know what? I'm selling emotion and experience and confidence and empowerment. And I talk about why I do what I do. My website on the About page, there's right there why I'm doing what I do, why I believe in it. I believe so strongly in the power of imagery to change lives. And if you just talk about what you do, I take sexy pictures of women. It's a cocktail line. Or how you do it. Yeah, we'll rent a hotel and then you'll change outfits 3 times and, see how that's not really inspiring at all. So you really need to think about why you're doing what you do. And you all did in your video. But the more you can communicate that through your website and just through your daily speech, just the more compelling it is, right? The quality of your photography is your top priority. I don't care about your freaking packaging or your biz cards. Sometimes this is another one where people focus on minutia. Get over it. I took an afternoon to design my logo. My brother put up my first website. I didn't spend all year picking my colors. And, I just now got business cards. How long have I been in business? I don't even know. 8 years. I just got business cards. Actually, they're not even business cards. They're cute. I'll show them to you later. But like, make the quality of your photography your top priority. I think some people get ahead of themselves, and I know a lot of these people, they are, spending thousands on branding, thousands on equipment, like setting up boudoir marathons. I was like, wait a minute, do you even know the basic rules of composition? Have you even thought about what makes a great photograph? Are you, keeping yourself inspired creatively? So I can't stress this enough. I feel like I'm going to say this all weekend. This is the most important thing. No, this is the most important thing. But I feel like really this is. You want to be a success, take great frickin' photos, please. And don't forget that. And the bulk of your money, time, energy, and mental focus should be on this. Not on geeking out on Facebook forums going, hey, what kind of album press print do you know what I mean? Do it once, make the decision, have the product, and move on. All right. Know yourself and that you are the absolute best you out there. This one kind of strikes a chord with me because we all deal with copycats, especially if you're, whatever. Ahead of the game, people are, biting your tail, whatever. Keep moving is what I say. Do you know how many people copied my About page when it was 10 things that make me happy? I saw tons and tons of people that would take my workshop that would have that. And, they steal my images, that's fine. And want to know every little thing that I do. It's, what? No one can be you. So if you stay focused on who you are, and really build your business and your style around you, and you kind of have those blinders on, I just think that's gonna suit you. So, I don't think you should operate in a vacuum. You should definitely kind of know what's out there. But I wouldn't worry about competitors. I don't believe they exist, really. It's an art, and it's you. You're your brand. How can anyone compete with that? Do you have any questions about this? About copycats? Because I know a lot of people deal with that and they get all caught up in it. It's like, oh, well, so-and-so down the street named their thing, my exact same name, or, they're using the same set or whatever. I know, it happens, but those people don't have legs. Who cares if they steal your photo? Like, where are they gonna go with that? Really, where are they gonna go with that? I had someone rip off my entire website, the whole thing, just change the name. Seriously, where are you gonna go with that? It's like, you can't be me. So any questions about this? No? No questions? I'll move on.
Do you network with other photographers? Like, sometimes I'm scared to do that because of this right here. People taking your ideas. Like, so do you feel like networking is strong and that's useful, or do you kind of just stick to your own little group?
Now I really have, I have a bunch of photographer friends, but I stay outside as much as possible, only because I feel like it makes me a better photographer. I try, like when I first started, I never entered a forum. I didn't have any photographer friends for like 3 or 4 years. And I feel like that really served me because I just developed my own damn thing on my own. I don't know, maybe looking back, I would have been nice. I would have cut my learning curve down a little bit on certain things, like getting a different lens if I had jumped in sooner. I sometimes have a problem asking for help sometimes, so that's my own thing. But I do enjoy very much the company of photographers. We're such a great group of people. We're so generous and fun, and I love our contemporaries. I just think are awesome, and we're all here to help. So if something I do helps you, awesome. You're not ripping off me entirely. Even the girl who ripped off my entire website, it's like, whatever. You know what? I'm not gonna let that stop me from making friends that I enjoy, from teaching every single thing that I do if it can help you. You know what I mean? Because I really believe that there's no way that, Brandy, you can do what I do. And there's no way that I could do what you do. So why are we even worried about it? Mm-hmm. It does get a little touchier if you're down the block and some photographers out there, very well known, won't allow people into their workshops within the same state or within a 50-mile radius. I had someone in Santa Monica down the block take my workshops over and over and over again, using all of the images shot at my workshops on her promo cards, posted at the same place that mine were. So I even, it was a little bit like, okay, maybe a little uncomfortable. I'm fine with it. Where are you gonna go with that, girl? So I would suggest you do. I don't know what the word network means, really, but if befriend, share ideas, sure, I highly recommend it. It makes, be generous. Be generous. It'll come back to you.
Adam from Oshawa is wondering about watermarks, if you're for or against them.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about that. I'm so glad I have a forum to discuss why I use watermarks, because I really didn't. I was kind of a snob about it. I was like, well, I don't want to watermark my image. I compose that so when, it's throwing the whole thing off. I hate watermarks. And then people started, I don't care that other photographers would rip off my images, and so what? But here's what started to happen. Escort services were taking my images and using them on their sites. So I had to call my lawyer. And I found out because the model found out, the guy who was looking up some London escort service. I'm looking at you, Carlo, only because you're from London. Started to see, and so we started searching around, and I was feeling so awful about that. So I had to, I called my lawyer, and he made me feel really silly, actually. And he's like, you can prevent this easily. Because he was going through hoops to trying to, locate who these people are and get them to take it down. So I was like, yeah, so I have to watermark it. Yeah, I know people can clone stamp that out, but at least I'm doing the best I can to protect my clients and models. Having said that, that's another reason why I don't post a lot of my clients, even ones who want to give me. I've gotten over it. Sometimes I do a killer shoot that's creatively freaking awesome and something I want to share with everybody, and it does crush me to not, because I'm shooting a lot of high-profile people lately. Anyway, watermarking is a necessity for me because I do not, under any circumstances, want my images used on an escort service site. That's the long and short of it. Simple answer.
We already have
Yeah,
tons and tons of
throw a couple
questions
more.
from the internet.
Good.
As always. Let's see. And you kind of talked about this, but how about a good friend? This is from Lion's Photo. How about a good friend that is doing the same thing as you in the same town, but for cheaper? How do you reconcile that?
This person, what's her name? His name?
Lion's Photos.
Lion's Photos needs to know why she's more expensive. Where she needs to create more value. So she has to be distinctive. She has to have that passion, that heart, that why. She has to create an amazing experience. She has to differentiate herself somehow. So she has to get personal. Know what I mean? Because once you get personal, no one can duplicate it.
And that was another, just to follow up on that, was Just Takes Photos. Just Takes Photos had asked, how can you say that you don't believe in competition, that nobody can compete with your art? Could you expand on that?
Yeah. I just think that there's no person that's going to take a client away from me. So people think in terms of my main competitor, meaning people are going to her instead of me. But I think my client comes to me. My client comes to me. I hate to simplify it that way or be cheeky, but that person's for her and that client's for me, and no one's taken my client. I don't know, I just feel that way. And plus, there's no competition in terms of who's better, it's just different.
And that comes with, like you were just saying, defining who you are and what your differentiation is.
Exactly.
So that people know to come to you.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Can I ask you
Yes.
one question? How do you understand who your customer is? And when they contact you, how you know if you are spending time on the right person or not?
Right. We are going to talk about creating your ideal client. That is a fat ass answer. So that's a big portion of what we're going to do together. So let's do that when we get to it.
Yep.
But great question. All right, let's move on. Last one. Know your ideal client. Thanks for the segue. And focus only on thrilling her. So just like kind of we talked about, I'm not worried about, I think some people try and book every inquiry. That's like insane. I'm not focused on the new bride. I'm not focused on the military wife. I'm not focused on the, 30-year-old pretty girl. My client is very specific, and I'm very focused on thrilling her. I'm not wasting any energy trying to book or seduce any other client. And I think that this is where a lot of people waste a lot of time, money, and energy.